I've always wanted to see Ana de Armas in a Taken movie, and with all the rumors swirling, it looks like it might actually be happening. If the buzz is true, then it's time to break down everything known about Taken 4 and how Ana de Armas is set to take on the role of the villain. So let's jump right in. For those who might not be as familiar, Taken 3 was the third installment in the Taken series, released in 2015. It starred Liam Neeson as Bryan Mills, a former government operative with a very particular set of skills. Directed by Olivier Megaton and written by Luc Besson and Robert Mark Kamen, the film also featured Forrest Whitaker, Maggie Grace, and Famke Janssen. This time, Mills found himself falsely accused of murder and on the run from the police, led by Inspector Dotzler. As he fought to prove his innocence and track down the real killer, the stakes became more personal than ever. Despite being a box office success, grossing $326 million worldwide, Taken 3 received mostly negative reviews. Many critics felt that the action sequences were uninspired, the direction was unclear, and the storyline had become formulaic. Some even argued that the franchise had run its course. Still, audiences enjoyed seeing Bryan Mills back in action. The third film followed his attempt to rebuild his relationship with his daughter, Kim, and his ex-wife, Lenore. However, things took a tragic turn when Lenore was brutally murdered and Mills was framed for the crime. What followed was a thrilling cat-and-mouse game as Mills evaded law enforcement, uncovered the truth behind Lenore's death, and took down the real mastermind, her husband, Stuart St. John. In the end, Mills managed to clear his name and ensure that justice was served, with Stuart arrested and Kim revealing she was pregnant, hoping to name her child after her late mother. Now, with Taken 4 officially in the works, the big question is, where does the story go from here? This time, the stakes are expected to be higher than ever, with Ana de Armas stepping into the role of the villain. While details remain under wraps, it's rumored that she will play a highly skilled assassin with personal ties to Mills' past, seeking revenge for reasons yet unknown. Given de Armas' background in action films like No Time to Die and The Gray Man, she's more than capable of bringing a fresh and formidable presence to the franchise. As for the setting, Taken 4 is likely to take Bryan Mills out of the US and back into the international espionage scene. With Taken 2 set in Istanbul and Taken 3 unfolding in Los Angeles, the fourth film could see Mills traveling to Europe or even South America, tracking down a new enemy while trying to protect his family. Rumors suggest locations like Spain, France, or Argentina could serve as the film's backdrop, adding a fresh dynamic to the high-stakes action. If this truly is the final chapter in the Taken saga, it needs to go out with a bang. With Ana de Armas stepping in as a powerful new adversary and Liam Neeson bringing his signature grit to the role once more, Taken 4 has the potential to reinvigorate the franchise and give Bryan Mills one last fight worth watching. With the dramatic events of Taken 3 behind him, Bryan Mills has finally found some semblance of peace. His daughter's safety is secured, his past enemies have been dealt with, and he's ready to embrace a quieter life. However, that peace is shattered when a new and far more cunning adversary emerges, one who is not only personally connected to the chaos of his past, but is also more ruthless than anyone he's faced before. Enter Isabella Ramirez, a highly skilled former intelligence operative with deep ties to Oleg Malenkov's criminal empire. Unlike Malenkov, who was a brute force enforcer, Isabella is a tactician, a master manipulator who operates in the shadows. After Malenkov's death and Stuart St. John's arrest, Isabella took control of Malenkov's remaining assets, forming a deadly syndicate. But her motives go beyond money and power. She has a personal vendetta against Bryan Mills. Years ago, Isabella's father, a high-ranking figure in an international cartel, was taken down in an operation that Mills had a hand in during his time as a CIA operative. Though Bryan had long since moved on, Isabella never forgot. Now, armed with intelligence, resources, and a ruthless crew of mercenaries, she orchestrates a meticulous plan to destroy Mills' world piece by piece. The story picks up with Bryan, now retired from any form of government work, living just outside Los Angeles, maintaining a distant but watchful eye over his now pregnant daughter, Kim. Kim, finally moving forward with her life, is engaged to a young businessman named Alex Carter, played by a new supporting actor. But unbeknownst to them, Alex is already on Isabella's radar. She exploits his financial troubles to blackmail him into luring Kim into a trap. When Kim and Alex take a short trip to Spain under the guise of a business opportunity, Bryan senses something is off. His instincts, honed from years of experience, prove right when he receives a chilling video message from Isabella. In it, she tells Bryan that Kim is now in her grasp, and this is his punishment for taking her father away. She dares him to come for her, promising that this time, things will end differently. Determined to save his daughter once more, Bryan calls upon his old allies, Sam and a new tech specialist named Javier, a former cyber intelligence agent with personal grievances against Isabella's syndicate. They track Isabella's operations across multiple locations, leading Bryan to Madrid, where she runs her high-tech criminal empire from a fortified underground facility. As Bryan infiltrates Isabella's stronghold, he quickly realizes she is unlike any adversary he has faced before. She anticipates his every move, turning his own tactical skills against him. Their battle is not just physical but psychological, as she taunts him with his past mistakes, pushing him to the edge. Isabella doesn't just want to kill Bryan. She wants to dismantle everything he stands for, making him feel the helplessness she once felt as a child when she lost her father. The climax of Taken 4 is an intense, high-stakes confrontation deep within Isabella's compound. But unlike previous Taken villains, Isabella is not a brute force fighter. She's an agile and precise assassin, skilled in hand-to-hand combat and armed with cutting-edge technology. Their fight is brutal, with Bryan barely holding his own against her relentless speed and cunning tactics. Just when it seems Isabella has the upper hand, Kim, who has managed to free herself during the chaos, delivers the final blow, ensuring that Isabella's reign of terror ends for good. With her dying breath, Isabella warns Bryan that there will always be something coming for him and that his past will never truly be behind him. In the aftermath, Kim, now more aware of the dangers that come with being Bryan Mills' daughter, resolves to protect her own future family at all costs. Bryan, though weary, knows that his battle will never truly be over, but as long as his daughter is safe, he will always be ready to fight. With Taken 4, the franchise evolves beyond its original premise, introducing a villain who is not just physically formidable, but intellectually superior, making Bryan Mills face his most personal and intense challenge yet. The film's European setting adds an international espionage feel, bringing the franchise back to its roots while setting the stage for a final explosive showdown. And that's it for today's video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Taken 4 will be the best one yet? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.